On behalf of Derbyshire Sport, a very warm welcome to this, the 2012 Derbyshire Sports Awards. As we get towards the end of 2012, let's enjoy this evening and celebrate the successes of the past 12 months. And let's do that by asking you to put your hands together in a very warm Derbyshire welcome for our very special guests this evening. They are the nominees for the 2012 Derbyshire Sports Awards and Derbyshire's own Olympic and Paralympic athletes. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Here are then just some of the Olympic and Paralympic athletes from Derbyshire who took part in the Games. Let me introduce them. You've got a podium here, so you can do a full around wave as I introduce you all. So, we'll start with the Paralympians, shall we? And introduce you to Maddie Thompson. To Anthony Peddle. Simon Wilson. And Andrea Green. And to our Olympians, Ross Davenport. Annie Last. And Jennifer Pinches. Right, we're going to be chatting with quite a few of you through the course of the evening, but I actually want to chat to a couple of you right away. Let's start with Andrea Green. You got over 50 caps, but it was your first Paralympics. Was it everything you'd imagined it would be?
It was very difficult to imagine what it was going to be like, really. I went along to the Olympics to watch the beach volleyball, and I sat in the crowd there and I felt very sick thinking that was going to be me. But when I actually got to the XL and I started playing and I heard the roar of the crowd, it was just wonderful, really. Yeah.
Everyone talks about the Olympics and the Paralympics and what an inspiration they were. So what does it mean next for the team, do you think? Where does the team go from here?
The team, we're just awaiting UK sport funding, really. So we've disbanded, well, not disbanded, we've gone back to our local clubs to play in the Grand Prix, and then we'll regather in January and see where we go from there with how much money we've got and what we can do.
But the ambition's still there, presumably.
Yes, definitely. If there's no money, we'll get there a different way.
So many people did. Andrea Green, ladies and gentlemen. Wonderful stuff. I'm just going to step through here because I want to chat to Jennifer Pinches, Olympic gymnast, also your first Games. What are your lasting memories?
Well, everyone always says that how amazing the crowds were, and that's true. I mean, I don't know, I haven't been to any other Olympics, but it really was amazing to have that experience at home and know that like your family and friends could get there and all the supporters from the UK could really hear the support.
The thing with us when we watch, when people like me commentate, is we don't get to see all the work that went into it. So just give me an idea of the level of dedication it takes to be able to put on a show like that.
Well, I've been training since I was 6, and I've more recently had to train about 35 hours a week in Liverpool, and I don't live there, so that's another hour and a half travelling there and back as well. You've got to have a strict diet to keep on top of your training, as all athletes do. I missed a lot of school, a lot of social events. You really do have to throw yourself into it to achieve what you want to.
And was it everything you hoped it would be?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's what I've always been dreaming of, and it was even better than I could have expected. You know, the whole experience, all the hype for just like coming true.
It feels odd standing next to someone who's so obviously quite so young and saying this, but you're retiring. So what next for you?
Yeah, that sounds weird because I'm only 18. But it's always what I wanted to achieve, you know, going to the Olympic Games. And now I've done that, I want to finish my A-levels off because I didn't really get a chance to do that while I was training. So I'm back at school. And I've been to Ecuador. I've been volunteering for 2 months, just got back. And I'm going to be doing some media work for British Gymnastics and hopefully going to university.
Well, good luck with all of that. You've done us proud. Thank you very much. All of them have. Ladies and gentlemen, our Olympians and our Paralympians. It is my very great pleasure to be able to introduce to you our very special guest this evening. This is, of course, Sally Gunnell. You're going to have to bear with me. They say broadcasters don't like lists because, you know, you can get lost in them. But I'm afraid if you're going to go through Sally's highlights, it is of necessity a bit of a list. So bear with me as we go through. Commonwealth Games, 1986, gold in the 100 metres hurdles. 4 years later, we saw her in the distance that was going to make her truly famous, the 400 metres hurdles in Auckland. Gold again, 1990. Silver at the 1991 World Championships, and then the race that is lodged in the memory of those of us of a certain vintage. Barcelona, 1992. Running clear of her rivals in that magic final. Olympic gold and a place in history. There was more success even after that. Gold in the 400 metres at the World Championships in Stuttgart in a new world record time. In fact, Sally is the only woman to have held Commonwealth, European, World and Olympic titles at the same time. Since retiring from athletics, Sally's enjoyed a career in the media and is involved in corporate work, which is to encourage companies to bring health and well-being into the workplace, which really fits in well with what we're talking about here tonight. So ladies and gentlemen, please, a rousing reception. Put your hands together for Sally Gunnell. I went through it there. That's some athletics career. When did you know you had a bit of talent?
Oh, gosh. Probably at 5 years old, and I was playing Kiss Chase. Does that count? I don't know.
Probably does.
Yeah, I just loved it. I just found that I could run fast from a young age. And I guess I had a very good PE teacher who guided me into an athletics club when I was 12. I wanted to be a gymnast, actually. I saw the gymnast up here tonight, and that's what I wanted to really be, but I wasn't. So running was my thing, and then got spotted at 14 years old, and I had a dream of wanting to go to the Olympics. And I just said at 14 I want to go to the Olympics, but I also want to be an Olympic champion, which I think is a bit of a weird and wacky thing to be thinking at 14, but I did. And that was it. I knew what I wanted to achieve, and that was the dedication from there on.
It is a critical stage, that, isn't it, when you're getting into those sort of teenage years, and I think this probably especially applies to girls, actually. What support do you think is needed for emerging talent at that stage?
It was a crucial time. I was very lucky that my parents really supported me, and they, you know, drove me to where I needed to be. I mean, at that point, I was committed to driving to Crystal Palace 3 times a week, which was about an hour away. So right from 14, that commitment was there, and they gave me that support. But I then remember going through sort of like 2 or 3 years after that where, and I look back now and I'm sort of slightly embarrassed, but you know, we didn't have sort of lottery funding, and I know the local sort of council used to sort of give me grants of £100, which were just so crucial that, you know, allowed the petrol and things like that. But I also used to write letters to local companies saying, please can you give me £200 to send me on a training camp? And I look back now and I think, God, how embarrassing. But I was so determined of what I wanted to do, and I knew that my parents couldn't really afford all that, and we were travelling to try and get to all the it's the same old story. So, I look at that, and it was crucial, and a lot of the companies did support me, and that kept me in the sport, through that sort of 14, 15, 16, and probably 17 years, that age range, and just allowed me to carry on in the sport that I could so easily have given up because I didn't have that financial support, or a lot of my friends did, but no, it just kept me there.
So many athletes these days, if they hit that sort of age and they show some promise, suddenly they've got a nutritionist, they've got a psychologist, they've got someone doing strength and conditioning. What sort of support network did you have?
That didn't really come on till later on. I mean, it wasn't really heard of, and I guess it's really been part of it. And I was probably 4 years before Barcelona, and I was actually fifth in the Seoul Olympic Games, and I just remember thinking, right, that dream goal that I had from that youngster was all of a sudden my realistic goal, and I thought, if I'm going to win, then I've got to do it in 4 years' time, because I'll probably be too old in another 8 years. And I tried to work out how I was going to win. How do you go from fifth in the world to first? And I just thought, well, that's going to come from, you couldn't train any harder. So that had to come from other areas. And that's where, we started, and I talk about we, it was my coach that I was with from 14, and to build this team up of nutritionists and psychologists and sports, science side of it, and all those sorts of things, which is when you get to that next level now, world-class performance, that applies, but it never really happens at that sort of growing area, that real sort of crucial area before you get there. And that's what I had to go out and find myself, but I look back now, and that made the difference between coming fifth in the world to winning.
Now, it's time for a very special presentation. It's time for our Lifetime Achievement Award. This is going to an outstanding sportsman who's been flying the flag for Derbyshire as an international swimmer for more than 10 years. Born in Belper with a really impressive medal tally. European Junior 200 metre relay, bronze, 10 medals at the British Championships over 100 metres and 200 metres freestyle. Broke the British record for the 200 metres in 2009. European short course 200 metres, bronze. World short course relay, silver. European Championships 200 metres relay, silver. 2 silver and 2 gold Commonwealth Games medals. 2 agonising 4th places in the relays at World Championships and Olympic Games. Competed this year at the London Games, his 3rd, finishing 6th in the relay. He's been a great ambassador for Derbyshire, so ladies and gentlemen, please show your appreciation as you welcome to the stage Ross Davenport. When you went to Belper Marlins 20 years ago, did you have any idea that was going to be possible?
Not at all. I started out swimming because my older brother wanted to swim, and I did it because I loved it. And I never believed that somebody from Belper or myself could go on to represent, at Olympic Games or a World Championships or a Commonwealth Games. So, just for me, swimming was my love. I didn't really want to go on to achieve Olympic success. It just kind of happened. So, it's been a whirlwind career. I'm sad and gutted that it's over, but everything that's great in life has to come to an end. And unfortunately for me, last Thursday was a sad day, but also a very proud day to announce my retirement and move on to my next step in my career.
Ross, you had a great start with these 2 clubs. Lots of dedication. You've enjoyed a fantastic international career. Can you pick out highlights from them?
I can't look much further than the 2006 Commonwealth Games. I went there never believing that I could. No, I went there believing I could get a medal in a relay, never believing I could actually go and win the event and win 2 events actually and come away with three medals. So it was that's got to be a highlight. The 3 Olympics have also been very, very special. Starting out at the first one in Athens, the birthplace of the modern Olympics, it was a dream come true, and then Beijing for many reasons, just being there and being such an iconic Olympic Games, but finishing off in London, it's been a dream come true. not many people can go to Olympic Games, so to go to 3 and finish on a home games it's beyond my dreams, and it's been a career that I look back very fondly of, and I thank everybody for their support and the hard work that they put into my career for my personal goals.
But the winner of the University of Derby Sports Person of the Year for her silver medal in the World Under-23 Mountain Bike Championships and her outstanding performance at the Olympic Games in finishing 8th is from the Derbyshire Dales, mountain biker Annie Last. Annie, British cycling is just the most astonishing success story. We oughtn't to forget the role that people like Dave Brailsford play in all of that. You're on the inside. Why are you all being so successful as riders?
We get asked that question quite a lot. I think it's the massive support that the whole team gets. There's just an incredible amount of support staff sort of behind the scenes. Obviously you've got sort of your coaches, your main coaches and physios and things, but we get massive nutritional support, psych support, and like the amount of bike position that goes into it. And the guys spend hours and hours in the wind tunnel sort of maximising what's going to be sort of the best position to get, power outs on sort of turbos and wind tunnels to get most slipstream positions. So it's, just an incredible amount of background work that goes into it.
Looking back on your 2012, an Olympics you weren't necessarily expected to make, getting to 8 now, did you manage to take it all in? Have you managed to hold on to the memories of it all?
I think I definitely didn't take it in until I sort of finished my season and stopped. You kind of just get taken along in it all. It's for me it was two hard years of qualification to even get to the Olympics, and then I qualified, but you don't sort of think about that because you're then aiming to sort of push on for the actual games. And then for me after the games I'd got a World Championship sort of 4 weeks after, so straight back into that. But then sort of September I've had a nice month off, and I think first 2 weeks I was probably too tired. But then, when you sort of look back on it and it kind of sinks in, takes a long time, but so it was an incredible year. Like I say, the home Olympics is just such an amazing opportunity. Well, it's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to compete at a home games, and the home crowd was incredible, so a great year.
You mentioned there Rio, and you mentioned a podium. So you've set yourself an ambitious target. What do we look out for from you over the next 4 years as you run up to Rio? How do we know you're hitting your marks? How do we know it's all happening and going the way you planned?
Well, the first half of this year, I'm going to take it a little bit steadier and kind of give myself a chance to catch up over the past few years. But then I sort of in the next year, I move into it's the first time that I can compete at elite level at World Championships and European Championships. So I think for me it'll just sort of stepping up there in the whole season as opposed to just that one Olympic race. And I'd like to come Rio be kind of sort of comfortable with getting on the podium more often. So just keep working hard and hopefully we'll get there.
Well, you'll have plenty of support in this room and right the way across Derbyshire and the wider East Midlands, I'm sure. Ladies and gentlemen, she's aiming for the podium in Rio, Annie Last.